Hello everyone, AZ Flyer here. And in this video, we're going to show the very simple procedure on how to set up a brand new model airplane in your FRSky X20S transmitter and binding up a receiver. So this is for those of you who just want to see the most basic, simple operation on how to set up a new airplane and to show you just really how simple it is. And then we'll follow on with more videos to take it through the whole process of setting up all the different functionality of your airplane. So to start out with, you have a main menu here when you turn the model on, and this airplane button right here is the menu that you're going to want to select to get to your model menu. And you can see up at the very top left, there's this window, there's a tile called Model Select. You'll press on Model Select, and you can see here you've got a lot of, I have all my different airplanes in here that I'm flying, and you can just use the wheel to scroll through the different airplanes. But to set a new one up, we're going to want to we can come all the way down to the bottom here where there's a plus sign, and just use your wheel here to select your plus, and then it walks you through the different steps. So you just pretty much answer the questions based on whatever it is that you're going to set up. In this case, I'm going to set up just a normal airplane, very simple 6-channel airplane. So, but you can use the wheel to scroll through different menus. But I'm going to go ahead and put it over airplane, push and select airplane, or I can hit the arrow down here and go to the next screen. It asks all kinds of questions like how many channels for engines. I'm just going to use one channel, but you can see I can actually select this and scroll between different channels. I've got multiple engine channels. So that's the logic that's happening here. I'm just going to leave it on one channel. I hit the next arrow, and then it asks you about ailerons. So I'm going to do one channel for ailerons. I'm going to use a Y connector for 2 different aileron servos, but they're going to be on the same channel. So I'll go ahead and set one channel there. Flaps, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to say one channel for flaps. I'm going to keep it very, very simple. Hit the next arrow. And for our tail, do you want a traditional tail? Do you have a V tail? What is it that you're working with here? So you just pretty much go through and say, what are you doing? No tail. I'm going to say traditional tail. So there's my traditional tail there. And then it asks, well, how many channels? Again, I'm going to use my elevator on one channel, the Y connector to my elevator servos, one channel for my rudder, but you can change this if you want. Hit your next arrow. And then here's where you can name it and add a picture. So we'll just name it for right now. I'm going to call this something very, very simple. So I'm just going to call it a test airplane. And you can see it's just a little keypad here. We're going to say test. And I'm not going to add a picture right now, but I can just, once I say test, that's the name of the airplane. It'll show up my menu as the test airplane. And you'll see I have a brand new model here. And when I go to my model airplane tile, or menu, and go to my model select tile, you'll see my test airplane now is down here, and it's check marked. You can see the check mark here in the window. It's telling you that I've selected that airplane. So then the little arrow at the top left allows me to back out and get back out to my main menu. So I've got a basic airplane set up in here now, ready to program, ready to start setting up. And we'll wrap this video up with showing you how to set up and how to bind a receiver to it. So in this video, we're going to bind up a Archer SR10 Plus stabilized 10-channel receiver. And I'm just going to use a little battery here. And this is really how I've been setting these up. I don't put them in the airplane and set them up. I like to bind them up like this with my transmitter, and just, this way I can just work on it here, and I'm not actually messing with an airplane. So I kind of recommend this process, but really whatever works for you. So you're going to go to your airplane menu, your model menu, and you're going to select RF system, which is this little tile here at the bottom right. Select RF system, and it asks you some questions about this model. Now I'm going to be, since I'm using an FRSky transmitter, an FRSky receiver, I'm going to be using the internal module. So you notice you've got an internal and an external module. An external module would be if I'm going to plug in a transmission module on, and I do another video on how to do the multi-module protocol setup. So that's like I'm going to bind up to a Spectrum or some other type of radio. But in this case, since it's going to be on FRSky, I'm just going to use the internal module. The state I'm going to say is on. That turns it on or off. The state, is it an on state or an off state? What's my type? Is it access or what is it? So here's, you can go through and you can select the different types of modules. You'll see here, this actually says access. So I'm going to select the access drop down. If I'm doing a dual module, like the TD series, then I'm going to go down and I'm going to select TD module. But in this case, it's a single, it doesn't have the dual mode that a TD does. So I'm going to stay with simple access. You'll see here my channel range is 1 through 16, which is perfect because this is a 10 channel receiver. And I'm going to come down here. Again, I'm on internal module. You'll see that the 2.4 gigs is on, the 900 is off. And the next thing I want to do is I need to register this receiver for this transmitter. So with an FRSky, you have to do 2 steps to bind up your brand new receiver. You have to register it to the transmitter, and then you have to bind it. So the first thing we do is register. Now to register, I'm going to walk you through it first before I actually do it. There's a little button on here that you're going to hold down while you power up, and with the registration turned on. So I'm going to hit the registration button first, then I'm going to power this up while I'm holding this down, and the transmitter will search for this receiver. So let's give it a shot. So I'm going to hit register. Okay, it says waiting for receiver. Then I just plug this in anywhere at all while I'm holding that button in. And you'll see there it popped up, register, registration okay, I am good to go. Then I'm going to go ahead and unplug my power, and I'm going to bind. And you'll see you've got 3 different options here for receivers. I could have 3 receivers bound up to this model. I'm going to put it in RX1. I'm going to do kind of the same thing, except I'm not going to hold this button down anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit bind and power it up. And when I do that, it will bind up the receiver. So I'm going to hit bind, waiting for receiver. Go ahead and plug it in, give it power. And there it is, SR10 Plus. Come down and highlight it, hit OK, and my bind is OK. So now I'm bound up to this receiver, and I can go ahead and start setting up my different channels. So that's a very simple video on how to set up a model from scratch to get it in your transmitter, so you can start to set up the different channels and programs, and how to bind up a simple receiver. And I hope this works well for you. Just leave some comments or questions in the comment section, and we'll do our best to help you out. Otherwise, happy flying.